Good afternoon and welcome to Have a Chat. I'm Audrey Lynch with my lovely co-host Judy Loge. Hello Judy, how are you?
I'm good today.
We are here. We have a great show lined up for you today. A lot of great guests. We're actually going to be trying something new we haven't done before here, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
First up, we're going to start off our show like we always do with a positive thought or a positive quote of the day. And Judy, you have something for us.
I do have, and it's very short, but it has a strong impact, I think, on most people that hear it.
Okay.
And it is by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Okay, famous. Calmness is always godlike. Calmness is always godlike. So I guess when I thought of that, we all get caught up in very much of the hectic season activities. And in our lives, there's going to be turmoil, whether we expect it or not. We're all going to have rough patches. Everybody is.
Exactly.
So if we're going to just be like, just excitable and overwrought and really it breeds that in the house. So for example, if somebody comes home really upset and you get upset with them and you get overworked, just by changing your attitude and being calm will have an effect hopefully on them. And I think my best example I'm going to say is my husband of calmness, being godlike, because that man is so calm that I'm thinking if I had him as my doctor, I would want to know that he was in the room should I get bad news, because he's not going to scare you or frighten you or leave you without hope. I think his calmness and his quietness and his tone that's gentle is going to make you feel better and give you encouragement.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. Calmness sort of gives you a sense of serenity and peace.
It does.
With all of that. As hectic and as crazy and as busy as things can be, that's exactly what we need in our lives to balance us out and not lose our marbles, especially this time of year.
And we also forget about time for ourselves. We need, when I'm by myself, which is very rarely, when we should take those opportunities to be alone, we get time to think about ourselves, not in a way that's needy, in a way that is, you try to make yourself calm, you meditate, you think about life, and you look at things in a different perspective. So if you're always caught up in the rat race, you're never looking at what you need and how to better your attitude.
So if you're the one that can't seem to calm yourself down, surround yourself with those
Calmness.
people.
Meditation tapes, prayer or whatever it takes.
Whatever works for you.
Just being by yourself, going for a drive.
Definitely.
Okay.
We want to let our viewers know that we have a couple of guests joining us right off the cuff with the beginning of our show.
Welcome, ladies.
We want to welcome Claire LeBlanc and Joyce Tucker today. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hello.
So nice to have you both.
Thank you.
Well, we're pleased to be here.
Very important we want to talk about, you guys want to share with us and our viewers. We'd like first to hear from you, though, and who you are.
I'm Claire LeBlanc. I stayed many years in Connecticut, but I've practiced nursing for at least a good 35 years.
You know about calmness.
At times, at times. I do admit.
Yes.
And since then, I've been involved in different community organizations, and always with a goal of hoping to make a little bit of difference in the quality of lives of people.
And you've come from Shediac today.
I've come from Shediac. I moved from Connecticut to Shediac, and
for you, beautiful
I love it. It's closer to my natural home, which I appreciate very much.
Nice.
Yeah. And Joyce, tell us a little bit about who you are.
I'm originally from the Gaspé Coast, moved here in the beautiful Miramichi area 5 years ago, married a man from Renew, so this is why I'm here in the Miramichi. I'm an LPN of 21 years, and I'm also specialized in advanced palliative care and advanced Alzheimer and dementia, so I do. And now I'm with Care and Share and loving every moment of the Care and Share.
Yes, so that's exactly what you want to talk to us today about, is the Care and Share program, which for those of our viewers out there who are not sure what that is, now that's the first Miramichi female focus group dedicated to enhancing self-care and healing for women, correct?
Yes. Well, it's a program. It's an initiative that we started working on with obviously people from the Miramichi area, and they're all very dedicated ladies, and especially in providing support to the woman with cancer in the greater Miramichi area.
Oh,
and
so
this is where the Care and Share name comes from. The forum or the focus group that will happen on Saturday will be part of that Care and Share initiative that we want to have it grow and expand and offer more and more of the type of information and resources that the ladies from this area would like to have.
It's a wonderful thing, and I take it that you are both survivors of cancer.
Yes, I'm very pleased to say that I'm going to celebrate a 20 years survivorship.
Wow.
Awesome. I love that word, survivorship.
Yeah.
And yourself as well.
Yes, a 2-time cancer survivor. First time I was 20 years old. Second time I was 24. So I've been celebrating 30 years cancer-free.
That's
So-
fabulous. You look healthy and you're well, and now
Yes.
what you're wanting to do is to encourage other women and share the information you know with them to get them through what they're going through, which is so prevalent. I mean, let's just focus on breast cancer. Isn't it 26% of Canadian women will have been affected by breast cancer? That's 1 in 4.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a pretty heavy stat.
Yeah.
It is
That's a
heavy
very
stat.
scary one.
Yeah. On the other hand, though, which we have to look at the positive
Yes, we do.
side,
It's
is a breast cancer out of 3 can be prevented.
so it's getting
It's-
cured more frequently.
Yes.
Prevented or be cured?
Well, prevented, cured,
Cured. Okay. Early diagnosis.
early diagnosis.
Exactly. Now, a program like this didn't exist 20 and 30 years ago when you ladies went through your treatments and your diagnosis and things like that. So, Claire, tell me a little bit about how this all even came about. Who were you talking to? Was it an idea that you just had in your head?
It's from a need. I've been involved for several years with the New Brunswick Breast and Women's Cancer Partnership,
Okay.
and looking at the data, looking at and hearing and listening to the ladies across New Brunswick. It came evident and obvious that we need to put in place community different led programs so that we're able to provide environmental support to the ladies that have that are at risk of developing cancer, and as well the new people that are diagnosed with cancer going through treatment.
So this would allow them to have a forum in which they could ask any questions that they would have, get the information that they're looking for, and along with you providing support for them to go through what they're about to go through.
Yes, Care and Share is really it's an enabling self-care,
Okay.
and as well enabling the support from others, the peer support. I at times am tempted to call it the share. The share. The word is. I've lost my word on it.
Okay.
The
Happens to
the
me all the time.
I have it. The shareholders.
Oh, okay.
Which is the lived experiences in dealing with cancer, and that cannot be bought nor
No,
taught.
Not at all.
No.
This
No,
is
You're the walking, talking, you've been there, you've
Exactly.
been through it, and now you know what women need or want. Or you're trying to help others get to where you've gotten with a positive attitude and,
Yes.
and such.
It would have been nice if this would have been wonderful if this would have existed when I was going through cancer, when I was so young, being 20 years old, being a young mom with a newborn baby. And I didn't have that support system. 30 years ago, they didn't have what they have today that helps the women today. They didn't have that. That didn't exist 30 years ago. So I'm looking at 30 years back, and I'm looking at today, and there's such an advancement that has that has been done into the support for women survivors of cancer and women going through the treatment of cancer treatment. There's just so much, and it's nice to know that somebody's walked the shoes you've walked in.
Exactly.
And
Can
when they say, I know how you feel, they know exactly how you feel.
Exactly.
They've
Really
gone
important.
through similar situations with you. So it's really nice, and you get to share not only the physical, you get to share the emotional part with these women.
Yes.
And it creates such a special bond. So it's
Yeah.
really, really important.
Even though
within the
there's all
community.
different kinds of cancers, all different kinds of treatments, the one thing stays the same, and
Exactly.
that's the cancer.
Yes.
That's
Right.
exactly it. The
That-
cancer.
And no one should have to go through the cancer journey alone.
Never.
No,
I hope
no.
not.
And we've been talking about the peer support, the person that has already had a diagnosis of cancer and is capable of sharing those lived experiences with the newly diagnosed ones. But there are as well people that have accompanied people on the cancer journey that have very vivid and very valuable lived experiences that they
Yes.
can share as well.
But like you said, some people are elderly. They've lost their spouse. Their children have maybe moved away. They are alone during this.
Yes.
So that's why this is even more important, because that could be a woman out there watching today that just says, where can I go to get help? Who can I talk to?
Exactly.
Where can I get the resources?
No. And where you had it so young, I think to myself but that's not the norm.
No.
So how many people would you have to talk to that are going through what you are at that age, at that young age, right?
Nobody.
That's
Wow.
right.
It
Yes.
was
So-
such a solitary time
Time
for
for
me,
you. Yeah.
and such
Shocking to be that young.
but almost like a black hole, which is what I would explain it.
Yeah,
like
because you didn't
almost
fit in
because
the norm of any group.
no, I didn't fit into any norm of that group, and I didn't have anybody that I could
Go
confide in, go to, speak to,
Said that
or
they've
even
been
find
there.
comfort, emotional comfort with,
Yeah.
because it was not the norm. So, which is why it's just so important today. These programs are just
Well, tell us more
amazing.
about your program. And first of all, is it actually something that you're getting women very interested in and a response to?
Yes.
If you're seeing some people.
Well, this is new.
Yeah.
And it, as I was saying, there's fitness, and then there's healing, a healing component. Now, the fitness is a free weekly fitness activity that is available. We've launched it already. It's offered at the Newcastle Public Library
great.
every week. And then the healing part happens at the same time as well. And Joyce touched on it when we talked about the emotional healing. There's the physical healing. There's the mental healing,
Even
spiritual.
because you're
Yeah.
mad. You're saying you're mad at
Yes.
first. Like, why me?
Yeah.
And why,
Yes.
the
you're cursing.
first thing you go through
I
is
think
that
so.
emotion
Anger.
of anger, and it's like denial too, because
Anger,
no
denial.
way, like, why
Not
did
me.
this have to happen to me? Why me?
Why?
Like,
Yes.
why? I'm a good person. Why does this happen
That's
to me?
right.
Like,
That would be-
why?
And often enough, you say, why did you pick on me?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
And
exactly.
what
So-
did
What
I
did
do?
I do?
But
What did I do?
unfortunately, now it's so common. People are saying it's going to be me next because it is just
So-
It's not
so-
if, it's when.
It's
When.
well, that's
That's
what
right.
I'm-
That's the way I tend to
Yeah.
look at it, because it runs in my family as well. So unfortunately, because the stats are so high, people tend to look at the more negative part of it, that they're going to get it, as opposed to
Realistic,
the
though.
true, but
Well,
the
it is.
survivor part of it,
Definitely.
that statistic tends to be second. You don't hear that one first.
But the
No.
good news is that lesser women are dying of breast cancer, for example, than they were.
Yes.
So that's
Yes.
really
Yes.
good
That's,
news.
That's
Yes.
good news to share. Now, you have an event coming up that we want to make sure that our viewers definitely get to find out about.
All the details.
So there's a poster. So you will see these up and around all over Miramichi, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
I think I've
we are
actually
placing
seen
them
a
up
couple
and
of them.
around, all around Miramichi. So
The event
Okay,
is
so-
being held on Saturday, December the 2nd, and all the ladies of the greater Miramichi area are invited.
surrounding
we're
area.
hoping,
yes, everyone's
definitely,
invited.
we're hoping that we'll have a large group, and it's meant to share our common experiences with dealing with cancer, and as well to to continue on building this capacity for the community to be able to be responsive
Yeah.
to the needs of the population
Even
that
awareness,
have
the awareness
cancer.
component. If you haven't been affected, who's to say down the road that you may not be? So it's going to be informative. It's going to give a lot of facts that you might have a family member going through it, that how
what I'm
you
saying.
help
Well,
them
that's
deal with
exactly.
it.
Because sometimes the person affected with it hasn't come to terms with it themselves and is not ready to take this step to do that. But a family member, I would
go
think,
for
is
them.
still go for them
Yeah.
and get some information to help them cope, and then maybe share it with
Right.
them.
Yes.
You would be open to that as well, correct?
Oh, well, yes,
Oh,
it's
yes.
open to all women.
women.
All women.
All women.
Okay.
All women.
And
No, you don't have to be diagnosed.
No,
then.
but
okay.
most everyone has
Someone they
some experiences because
affected some way,
they
shape, or
have,
form.
Correct.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Friend, a relative, a family member.
Exactly.
Oh,
And
for
even
sure.
the exercise part of this is so important because I integrate it myself personally, and it's a wonderful healing tool for me. When I found out about it and I took the Ageless Grace course, I took it for clients that I had with limited life-limiting illnesses. But I found that it was such a joy and such a pleasure for me, and it helped me personally. So I live by it.
You look radiant.
Thank
That's,
you.
That's a really
They
big
both
knowledge.
do.
They do.
They both
You're
do.
so
They look
healthy
fabulous.
looking.
I just want to make sure that when we were talking about this event, we did say it was December 2nd from 10 in the morning until 2:30.
Yep.
Free registration, free lunch, lovely door prizes. Now, this is being held at the Howard Johnson's Inn and Suites in Miramichi.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So, and I would imagine you have a Facebook page.
It's all right
too.
here.
Yes, there is.
The little
Yes.
flyers
There is
are
a
there.
Facebook page.
Okay.
So to register, www.facebook.com, care and share, prendre, soigner, partager.
Prendre soin et partager.
Okay, there you go.
Yes.
And information, for more information, you call 506-351-1272. 506-351-1272. It's going to be awesome that day.
Yes,
Yes.
and we're fortunate enough to have Judy as an
Oh,
MC.
that's right too.
Yes,
That's
very
right.
fortunate.
Yeah, well, I don't know how
Exactly.
fortunate, but I will give it all because I
Oh,
really am
well,
there
we
as
find
a caring
ourselves,
person, you know? I'm there
Yes.
because I truly believe in what you're doing, and when you truly believe in something, it's easy to spend time talking with women and sharing good information and being positive.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
encouraging. We encourage all women to come. It's a lot of people they don't realize what's really out there, what's coming,
Right.
and this is going to be such a big part of women's lives and enriching their lives in a positive way for now, and paving the way for people in the future, women in the future who will be affected, because there will be other women affected with breast cancer and any cancer, and it's going to be paving the way for other women to say, hey, come join us.
We
We're
know
here
where
for
to
you.
go.
We want to support you. We're here for
It's
you.
beautiful,
Girl
actually.
power.
Yes.
No, it's a
Woman
really
power.
wonderful
Yes.
program.
Yes.
Power.
Woman power.
Yes, and we have to keep in mind that we all have a piece of the solution.
Yes.
So this is why that we invite all of the women, because
Yeah.
you have your ideas and your suggestions will certainly be
Sure.
greatly valuable to be able to move ahead and make this program
Okay.
look
Thank you. I
more.
just want to, and we're out of time this time. We'll have to bring you back for sure. We want to thank you, Claire and Joyce, for joining us today
Thank you for
and
having
filling
us.
us
Thank
in
you.
all on the Care and Share program.
December 2nd,
Yes, December 2nd at the Howard Johnson's Inn here in Miramichi.
10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Free
Yeah.
registration, free lunch.
We'll be back more after the break. Don't go away. Welcome back to more Have a Chat. We were just talking to two lovely ladies, Joyce and Claire, about the Care and Share program that they're initiating. So lovely subject,
Really awesome.
very, very important for ladies to want to go and check out. Up next, we have joining us a local chef, Jeff. That's your fault, Sean. Dennis MacDonald. Thank you, Dennis, for joining us today.
Thanks for
So
having
nice
me.
to have you, and you brought some food.
Yeah, some fun stuff.
Yeah.
Great.
So first, we're going to get you to tell us a little bit about yourself. You're actually a local chef here in Miramichi,
Yep.
and what he's going to do, we're doing something a little different. We haven't tried this to do a little more demoing and a little more interactive show for you guys today. And Dennis is here to show us and demo how we ourselves, possibly Judy or I, could, over the Christmas holidays, while we have company visiting, that we could possibly put something together that's actually fairly
Yeah.
easy, but will look very elegant and will impress our Christmas guests this
sure.
year. So,
You eat with your eyes, so it's
No.
like, it's important for things to look
Exactly.
pretty.
We were talking about calmness. You are a calm person, are you?
Yeah, yeah.
okay, before we get
Yeah.
started with that, but tell us a little bit about, in case there is anybody out there in Miramichi who doesn't know who Dennis MacDonald is.
Yeah, so my name is Dennis MacDonald. I'm born and raised in Miramichi. I'm actually from Black River. And yeah, I like to cook.
Yes.
I graduated the Culinary Institute in 2011, and I'm now cooking back in Miramichi and
Loving every
just doing
minute
my
of
thing,
it.
loving every minute of it.
Well, I wish I could do what you do. So you're going to
No.
start right off, are you?
Yeah, well, we can, yeah. However
Well, I
you want.
wanted
This
to
is
chit
new,
chat a
so
little
we're
bit
paving
first.
the way.
I had a couple of questions
Sure.
for him as far as I work alongside Dennis as well at a local restaurant here. My other little part-time gig, because I have a few of them. But I just wanted to have Dennis on the show because of all the people that have been around, because I have worked in the restaurant industry over the past few years, quite a few years. And I haven't met anyone like Dennis who I feel has such a passion for what he does. Not just the cooking, but the presentation and everything. And I just felt the need that I wanted not just Judy and our viewers to see exactly what it is that you can do and that we could do it too.
Right.
It's doable. We could do it
And
too.
holidays are approaching fast.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. What we're going to do is I'm going to show a dish with some cured salmon. If you've had smoked salmon at home or ever have like gravlax or anything
Love
like
it.
that. So
Right.
it's actually a pretty simple process. And I'm going to present it two different ways. One way is going to be like a plated composed dish that you would serve at a meal. And another one is going to be using the same ingredients, but we're going to change the presentation and we're going to make it more fitting for a past order or something like that.
Exactly.
Sounds good to me.
That's just
Yeah,
it.
so-
Love smoked salmon.
I can work
You can
away.
get
You
started,
guys can
and
chat.
I'm
I
gonna
can-
start
I can
chit-chatting.
multitask. So first thing what
Yeah.
I'm going to do is we're going to introduce some of the ingredients that we're going to be using here.
Okay.
So this is a cracker called an knäckebröd. It's a Swedish cracker, kind of like a seeded cracker. You know, if you've baked bread before, you could bake this.
Oh, I
It's-
break bread every day.
Yeah,
Well,
because
Yeah, I'm
this is
joking.
homemade as well.
Yeah, everything
Very
here
easy.
is
From
homemade.
scratch.
Everything's from scratch. And
I know how
contrary
much
to
you
popular
love
belief,
to
a
be
lot
in
of
the
I
kitchen.
love
sometimes fancy
bake.
things can be a lot easier to make at
No,
home.
the kitchen
than you
just
think.
came with my house, so
Sure,
I have to
sure.
use
Did you guys want to try
I would
these?
love
Yeah,
while we're
to.
Sure, yeah,
Definitely.
very
love
nice.
to.
Give
I'll
that a
pass that
try.
on, Audrey. Thank
Okay,
you.
so again, this is a
Yeah, so it's a knäckebröd. So
A
it's just a
knäckebröd.
rye crisp. It's
Okay.
a crisp, considered a crisp bread. It has sesame seeds, caraway, and a little bit of poppy seed in there as well.
Beautiful.
it is. I
So
can
that'll be a
taste
nice
all
little.
of those
That'll be a
flavors.
nice little crunchy component to the
and
dish.
easy to make. Okay.
Easy to make. Yeah.
Love it.
We'll share the link to the recipes online
That's
as
right.
well, so we don't have to get into rolling and kneading and all that fun stuff online.
But you swear it's easy.
It's easy, yeah. Like
Okay.
I said, Judy bakes bread, so she could make the
I'm
crackers.
not. That's a big fib.
Oh, okay. So,
That's probably Gerard's Christmas wish, but
Yeah.
so now this here is obviously can't cure it here, but I cured this last night. So
okay.
basically, to cure salmon, all you need to do is, in simplest terms, equal parts sugar and salt. So for this, I
Okay.
took a cup of brown sugar, and a cup of salt, some fresh cracked black pepper, and some crushed coriander seeds.
right.
And you cover the salmon on top and bottom, maybe in a little saran wrap, maybe set inside
Okay.
a bowl, and you let that sit for 12 to 24 hours, depending on how thick
In the
your pieces-
fridge or on the
in
counter?
In the fridge.
Oh, in the fridge. Okay.
Yeah, so you want to let that sit
That's
at room
into
temperature.
curing?
And what it, yeah, well,
I didn't realize.
it's quite a bit more complicated for some things, but
Okay.
for salmon, it's
I
quite a
love
bit easier.
smoked salmon.
So after it's cured, I've rinsed the salmon off.
Okay.
Or rinsed the
You do?
sugar and salt off.
Okay.
And then I've smoked it. So I've got this neat little gadget at home that's it's actually called a smoking gun. My fiance got it for me for Christmas a few years
Nice.
ago.
Cool.
You put the wood chips in the top, and you can shoot smoke wherever you want. So you can just put this inside of a bowl, cover it with saran wrap, and you can encapsulate
You can
it
actually
in
give
smoke.
that smoked
Yeah,
flavor.
yeah, and it's actually quite smoky. Like if you smell.
It's grand.
Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful.
Oh, it is.
I love it. My family loves
It
it.
is.
So
I'm not a
that's-
big salmon
Oh.
lover. I have tried. I'll try it in an hors d'oeuvre or
Nice.
something else like
Yeah,
that.
sometimes
but-
like if you don't like a piece of salmon, like a cooked piece of salmon, sometimes like the way it's presented and the
Right.
way you eat it. I'm not a fan of salmon myself. I would never order a slab of salmon,
Right.
but I like it cured. I like it raw. I like
especially
it
with
smoked. It's going to be good, yeah. So we're gonna get to that in a little bit.
Yeah, but save some of this cracker.
Also, something else that I'm including in the dish is creme fraiche. So it's kind of
Creme
like sour
fraiche.
cream that you can make at home. It's
that.
fresh, it's
Ah.
cultured, super simple to make. All you do is you take about 2 cups of whipping cream, 35%, and
Okay.
about 4 tablespoons of
Yep.
Greek yogurt. So
Greek
in this one,
yogurt, okay.
put a lid on it, and here's the scary one. You set it on the counter for 24 hours.
Really?
Don't be scared,
Room
because it's not going to
temperature.
make you sick. So what happens is that whipping cream, it stiffens right up,
Yep.
and it starts to
I wanna say
live
ferment.
cultures kind of ferments, and the
Yeah.
cultures kind of activate in there, and it makes it fairly probiotic, so it's actually healthy for the gut.
So again, sour
Nice.
cream and Greek
Whipping cream.
yogurt.
Whipping cream and Greek
cream.
yogurt. So the-
Whipping cream and Greek yogurt.
The
And it
Greek
turns
yogurt
it
have,
into
have
like a sour
live
cream.
cultures in it.
Okay.
So when you add
That's
that to the
right.
whipping cream, what they do is they're
Sounds good to
they're
me.
eating the proteins there. And, yeah.
Okay, so that's
what
the
we're
next
gonna do,
ingredient. Okay.
Also, I have for this, cider vinegar. So I made that myself a few years ago from trees outside of my house. Just ferment them with sugar and water.
Right.
And months later, it just turns into vinegar. It's pretty easy
Wow.
process. Won't get into that one too heavily, but
Okay.
and a little olive oil as well.
Okay.
To make this into a little tartare.
Love it.
So
So we'll get into
yeah,
that.
you guys can chat, and I'll just kind of
Yeah.
chop away here.
So,
Have you started doing things? Have ideas
no.
already for a party entertaining?
no, I haven't, but I'm hoping to get a lot of great ideas here. I have my standard things that I make that the kids look forward to. I can't not make my frogs. I cannot make my
Scotch cookies?
monkey bread.
Okay.
Scotch cookies I don't get into.
Oh,
I
I
find
love-
it's I love them,
They
but
are
I
a lot
find them
of
a little
work.
trickier. No, that's just it. So I'm hoping to be able to get some ideas from Dennis today that I'm actually going to be able to impress. Not that I have company come, but I actually tend to do a lot of visiting, and I don't
take
like to
it.
come empty-handed.
Sure.
Okay.
So if I can come up with something like that where I can quickly, easily throw my hors d'oeuvres together right there once I've arrived.
I love to
think-
entertain. So I'm
Yes.
quite
Yeah.
excited about this because my sister's coming home from Toronto.
Oh, okay.
And her fiance, and I
Right.
usually have my family in right around the holidays, like not Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, but a party kind of thing for family right after.
Exactly.
And I love to feed people.
Yes,
And they're always
exactly.
saying sit down and relax, but I want to feed them and get them their favorite drinks, and I love it.
I do. I
People
really
don't
do
people
too.
don't eat angry.
No,
and
they don't
No,
eat
it's
angry.
Food's a very happy thing.
It is. And
And-
I like to try new things. Do you?
Yes, I do actually. I'm a little more so now that I've started to travel. I've gone to Jamaica and Cuba, and I've always said that when I go to some place like that, I'd like to try at least one thing. that-
Unusual.
Yes, exactly. That's a little different, something that I couldn't get home here in Miramichi.
I will try most food once. I might not appeal to me, or on the menu, I would necessarily, go to order that.
Sure.
But if
Right.
somebody says, just try it, it is delicious, I would take them up on it. I'm
Yeah.
pretty brave, whereas some people are strictly meat, potato, vegetable.
Okay.
Can I say it? Boring.
Yeah, well, you'll never know
Really
if
like
you don't
them
try.
plain and simple.
No.
No.
You'll never know. Something like smoked salmon. Like people like myself, I'm not a salmon fan, but
Right.
smoked salmon. If I had never tried smoked salmon, I probably would have always shied away from.
No.
So you're
shied
cutting
away
up.
from.
I just
Okay,
want to
so-
make note of what you're cutting with, simply because that seems very sharp.
It is. I
And
won't get into the details, but
Yes.
you tend to cut yourself a little bit every once in a while. I'm going to keep it super safe here today, though. I'm not going to not look away from the board. How about that?
Please
Promise that I won't
don't.
cut
That's
myself.
quite the knife.
No.
Nobody
so-
wants to have to deal with that.
So you've cut up the salmon.
So for this one, we're going to be making a composed plate. So what that means is everything is not just poured on to the plate. So we're going to be kind of building the dish a little bit and creating some layers and different textural contrasts and so on. So
Nice.
what I'm doing is I'm doing this kind of tartare style, I guess.
Okay.
So we have the cured salmon, and to that we're going to add a little bit of this cucumber,
Cucumber.
just for
I love
freshness
cucumber.
and a little bit of
Yeah.
crunch.
It smells lovely.
Yeah.
Cucumber has such a fresh
Now
smell.
that's without the peel.
Yeah, without the peel, you can include
Yeah.
the peel if you want. It
Okay.
doesn't really make a whole
Yep.
lot of a difference.
Yep.
We're going to
That's
put a
just it.
little bit of lemon in there. just
All
because
sounds
lemon
good to
I'm
me.
just going to get you to bring the bowl over to the other
Yeah,
side, just so that we
sure.
can see.
And these are items
Yeah.
that I always have in my home. Not necessarily
Okay.
the salmon,
Oh
but
yeah,
on
yeah.
the
You don't-
holidays I do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You don't.
exactly. Okay,
It's,
you
it's,
can
there
put
you
that
go.
back.
There
easy
you
to
go.
get-
You like your bowl
to get
back.
these ingredients, no worries. So to that, we're going to add a little bit of olive oil,
Love
just to
The
kind
olive
of
oil.
add
Do
a
a lot
little,
with-
Right.
add a little shine, and it looks a little nicer too. But
When
it'll
it's
also
glossy
include
and it has that
include the mouthfeel.
little shimmer.
A tiny bit of that cider vinegar as well.
Okay.
With salmon and different vegetables, I like vinegar as a seasoning component more than salt. There's already salt in the
Yes,
salmon
in
as
the
well,
salmon.
so we'll
Yeah.
use just a tiny bit of that cider vinegar
Lovely.
as well.
Okay.
Little splash around.
Yeah, just a little splash around. So we'll mix that up.
It already
Yeah,
looks
well,
yummy. It
glossy.
smells. Our viewers can't tell, but the smell is quite
Inviting.
aromatic.
Yeah, and we're actually gonna hide it too.
We're going
Because
to hide
we're
it.
yeah,
You
we're
think
gonna
I'm
hide
gonna eat it
we're
on
gonna
you?
hide it. So what I have here is a plate
Okay,
with kind of an
yeah.
indented center.
Okay,
An
yeah,
indented center.
exactly.
This is actually by a company that I've come into contact with through social media that they send me products to plate with. So I'm actually considered a plating artist for
nice.
Cardinal International. They're an
Yes.
international plateware company, dinnerware and so on, and they let me take pictures on their beautiful products. And
Well, the
help to
thing is
promote their
that's what we
company.
wanted to bring up
Right.
to our viewers. You can continue on there. Is that Dennis actually has an Instagram account, which I'm sure a lot of our viewers do have, and he tends to take his dishes and the things that he creates and takes beautiful, lovely photographs of them. And actually, big name companies have contacted him and sent him free dishes, free cutlery to actually use to create
Yeah,
these
for-
dishes and have them in the photographs in order to
Yeah, promotion through
promote.
social media.
The
It's,
presentation is so much.
It is, yeah.
To me,
and-
it's a lot. I
Yeah.
don't care
It
how
really
good
is.
the food tastes. If it's just lumped on your plate, looks
That's
like
right.
it's thrown on your plate, it's not as appetizing
That's
as
true.
something
No, and you might
prepare.
not try
true.
something totally different if it doesn't look attractive.
well,
Right,
Totally.
and I always say you eat with your eyes and your ears and your nose first before you eat. You know, when
Before
you
you
go to a
even taste
restaurant,
it.
there's a
Okay.
nice ambiance in the restaurant. The menu's explained to you, dishes are explained to you. It comes to the table, you smell it first, you see it. All of these things are senses that you're picking up on before you actually get to taste it. So if the food tastes good, like that's a total win because everything
That's
else,
right.
if you hit all those marks on the way to the table, then it's
Okay. Looks
like you're hitting it
that's a
so
good win.
far.
Yeah, hopefully. So what we're going to do on top of this here is we are going to give it a little bit of that creme fraiche. It's a little bit. It's thicker than. It's kind of like lightly whipped cream. It's
Right.
thicker than
Exactly.
sour cream and a little creamier than yogurt. So this is going to add a nice little bit of acidity, but a little creaminess as well to the dish.
Right?
And then
Hungry after
I
eating.
know.
now, cracker time. So we're going to take some of these snacker buds. So you can kind of play around with how you put this together. I don't really have a whole lot of planning done when I go to plate a dish. I just feel out what feels organic and
Sure.
and I can just kind of roll with the bunches. So I think I'm just going to break these up a little bit.
Okay.
My style tends to be fairly simplistic. So I like
Nice.
a lot of less is more. You let the food
Yes.
speak for itself, and you just put nice ingredients on a plate. And just let them be. We're going to garnish that with a little bit of fresh dill. Dill and salmon go really well together.
They
Dill and
do.
smoked
Yes.
things, and obviously the cream.
That's
so
true.
I'm going to use some of these beautiful dill fronds, just to kind of garnish the top. And it'll also add a little color contrast there as well, where we already have the kind of a brown and orange theme. Garnish that like that. And just for a little bit of more elegance here, we're just going to grate a little
Lemon
Lemon
on
rind.
zest.
top of that. And that's it.
Lemon
So
Hey, that's
Perfect.
beautiful
So
looking.
that
we'll-
will be the
Exactly.
kind of hard to see
That
there.
didn't look too bad. I know I can
No.
handle that one.
I think
Right,
I can
yeah, not
handle that as
complicated.
well.
So the very same technique can be implied for an hors d'oeuvre style
Show this to
situation. So what
There
you
we
can
go.
do.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. That's a little better.
There we go. You can see it
Perfect.
a little better now. Maybe we'll take a picture and I'll post it on social media.
Sure.
On Instagram,
Love that
we'll
plate
post it
too.
there.
It just makes it so nice.
So
Yeah.
what we're going to do is we're going to, like I say, we're going to do the same thing,
Okay.
but we're just going to take these same ingredients and we're going to build this
Perfect.
right on these little crackers. So then
So this
if
is
you're
more
having
of the hors d'oeuvre style that you
Yeah.
would do with this and using the cracker itself.
yeah. So
Perfect.
it's something that, and this cracker too, like, oops, made a little mess there. This cracker totally doubles as like a good cheese ball cracker, or
It's
like an
sturdy.
all-around-
It's definitely
There,
sturdy.
lovely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but-
like
to
that.
make. You
Not,
make
not,
this.
not hard to make. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I made
This
them. Just
particular-
made them last night.
Wow.
Exactly.
So
That's
a little
just
bit
it.
of salmon on there.
That's your favorite place is in the kitchen, obviously.
Yeah. Well, good conversation happens in the kitchen, and there's
I
usually
know.
there's always good company in the kitchen. Nobody cooks angry. People.
I
and nobody
do.
eats-
I don't want that
Yeah,
hors
yeah.
d'oeuvre
I try
or
to be
that
calm,
meal.
but when things aren't, maybe they're overburning a little bit, or they're
Yeah.
or they're
You
just
don't
not.
eat angry, nor do you
Well,
cook angry.
You're very
Yeah.
calm. We were talking.
Yeah.
The quote is calm because you have to prepare. You have to enjoy what you're doing. You
Yeah.
can't rush a beautiful dish.
Well, I like to think that you can taste if somebody's made something that
From
they
the heart.
yeah like
Exactly.
with passion.
You can
Well,
taste
you can
if
tell
there's
by
passion
the
there, yeah.
presentation tells you a lot right out of the gate,
Well,
and then
yeah.
the taste and the flavors that all come
looking really
together
good.
then
That's
tell you
really
the rest of
looking-
the story.
Yeah, I've always really been interested in art and painting and drawing and things like that when I was younger, and I find myself getting very bored with different mediums.
Right.
You can literally never stop learning as a cook.
Never.
You never
Okay.
stop learning. So there's always room for some kind of a new, like if you get bored in a style or bored in a technique. Right now I like to ferment things, so I spend a lot of time letting
preparing
things
with
just
the
kind of
prepping
go a
part of
little
it.
weird in jars.
Okay.
I
Well,
love
we're
to bake
going
and-
to go to a quick commercial break because he has something even more fantastic to
Yeah.
show us.
Dessert.
After the break, it's going to be dessert, our ladies' favorite thing for sure, not only to eat but to prepare. So don't go away. We'll be back with more Have a Chat after the break.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And we're back with more Have a Chat, and we're also back with Chef Dennis. Hello. If you're just joining us, Dennis is a local chef here in Miramichi who has a passion outside of his job. He has an Instagram account. You can look him up there. You're definitely going to want to check him out with your dishes and your presentations, and there'll be a link on our Have a Chat page after we have this show and it gets re-aired, and people will be able to find your recipes and find out how to create these lovely little hors d'oeuvres. And now we're going to create a dessert. if I'm
That
not
was
mistaken.
delicious. That prepared
It
salmon.
was. Yeah, it was a smoked salmon on a
Seeded,
Seeded-
knackerbroad.
Knackerbroad.
Knackerbroad's what it's called.
Cracker.
Crispy cracker.
Okay.
Crisp bread.
Perfecto.
It was. It was
Loved
really,
it.
really
I
nice.
liked it.
Exactly.
So,
So now what's up?
Dessert and stuff.
Dessert.
Hey, if
Now
you're
we're talking.
angry making supper, you don't get. If you're angry making supper, you're not angry eating dessert. That's for sure.
No,
because it's hard
definitely
to make
not.
it's hard to make dessert angry. So,
No.
what we are going to do is we're going to make frozen yogurt. What's cool
From
about
scratch?
this is from scratch. What's
Okay.
cool about this is you don't need an ice cream machine at home to make frozen yogurt.
Okay.
You can flavor it with any berries you want.
Nice.
Right,
The-
and we're
the
gonna use
ratio-
blueberries
We're going to use
today.
blueberries today.
Okay.
The ratio is the same for whatever berry you want to use.
Okay.
And it just involves yogurt and berries, a little bit of a
And,
sweetener. I'm going to use a little bit of honey, and you need a food processor. Obviously, you're going to
Yep.
want to be able to blitz it up. You could use a blender if you have a food processor.
But
It's
a
going to be
food
a lot
processor,
easier
there
with
is
a
a
food
difference.
processor.
There is a difference. Okay.
So we have some frozen blueberries. It's important for them to be frozen because what's going to happen is when the berries start to pulse, they're going to stiffen up the yogurt,
Okay.
which is what gives you the frozen yogurt.
Now, do you use a specific kind of yogurt, or can it be Greek
I'm just using.
yogurt?
You can use any yogurt you want. I'm
Plain
just
or
using
vanilla?
I'm just using plain because I like to be able to
Plain.
control the sweetness in,
Okay.
in the
I'm
dessert.
the
But
same
you
way.
can use like a vanilla or any other flavored
Okay.
berry yogurts.
Yeah.
It really doesn't make any difference.
I'm actually the same way when I create my frogs, and I do Christmas frogs actually, or snow frogs I call them. I actually reduce the sugar
Yes,
by
you're saying
half.
that.
Yeah.
And I did that without telling my family members, and I run out. I have to hide them because they eat them all. So they don't even know the difference. So I'm like that too. I like to be able to control the sugar.
Cool. It's good because if you over sweeten something, like if you under sweeten something, you can add something sweet to
That's
it. But
right.
if you
You don't wanna
over sweeten,
kill
it's
it.
hard to
Overdo
cut that. It's hard to cut that
Can't
sweetness.
take it back out.
So I'm not going to blitz this up right yet. We're going to talk
Okay.
about one of the other ingredients in this dish,
Which
is this oat cookie.
Oat cookie. Yum.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
and now this is a homemade cookie. that
another
you can
homemade
do.
cookie. Yeah.
Okay.
Again,
The
with
other one was a
homemade
cracker.
stuff.
This is more cookie-like.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is what's called a haverflarn, which is an oat cookie. And now I'm throwing all these weird terms
I know.
out there.
I'm going to sound so impressive this holiday season.
Yeah, you could call it haverflarn, yeah, or you could just call it an oat cookie. It's basically like a little crispy tweel.
Thin.
You make
Okay.
them though.
Yeah, I made them myself. Yeah, so I'm actually going to make, and with the magic of TV, we are going
We're
to have
going
them
to
baked
show
all
in-
the same,
Isn't that
all at the
lovely?
same time.
Okay.
It's literally that simple. So
Okay.
That's
We're
fabulous.
excited now.
Yeah.
So-
this is actually how we make this oat cookie. So
Yeah.
for our viewers, tell us what you have in those
So
little jars.
I have these things weighed in here separately.
Okay.
But it's literally as simple as adding wet ingredients to dry ingredients, kind of like when you're
Right.
baking bread or making cookies. So what I have in here is 60 grams of flour, 90 grams of sugar, 45 grams of hulled oats, and about a quarter teaspoon of baking soda.
Okay.
So sugar,
Cold
oats.
oats.
Yeah, or like quick oats or
Quick
any
oat.
kind of a steel
Right.
cut oat. These are steel cut.
Okay.
So any kind of oat works. I like to weigh things when you bake because weights are more accurate
Accurate
than a cup.
than-
'Cause a
okay,
cup
I
of
was
flour-
wondering
a cup
why.
of flour weighed every time you make a cup is going to be different weights. So sometimes when you're baking, you can figure out the cups if you want. It's just nice to be a little more accurate, especially with this one where it tends to be a little wet. If it's too wet, the cookie will spread too much. And if it's too stiff, then it won't spread enough. So
really quickly go over those items again in that so people, viewers can catch
so it's 60 grams of flour. There's 90 grams of sugar. I have the notes right here.
Yeah.
45 grams of oats and about a quarter teaspoon of baking soda is all that's in this little
Sugar,
mixture
flour,
here.
oats, and baking soda.
Sugar, flour, oats, and baking soda. You probably have all that stuff at home.
Yes, I do. I already do. I have these things.
So here we have, I've melted it already. It's 75 grams of butter and about 2 tablespoons of honey and 2 tablespoons of milk. That's all we need. Yeah.
Okay.
So the purpose of this point is to show like what it should look like after it's mixed together.
Okay.
Because if it's too
stiff,
it's not going to work right for you. So I'm going to grab a spoon here real quick. So I'm going to add that.
Wet is added to dry.
Yeah, wet's added to the dry. Yeah.
Okay.
And you can use a bowl. I'm just going to use this here because that's like it doesn't make as much of a mess.
That's the only thing about cooking that I don't like is the cleanup.
Yeah. So you hire a dishwasher.
Yeah, exactly.
So this, it really can't be any simpler than that.
Right.
You literally just mix these two things together and it'll be a little thinner than a pancake batter almost.
Okay.
So you want to take just the smallest.
Consistency of this part is key.
Yes, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
because like I said, if it's too stiff, then the cookie's not going to flatten out enough in the oven.
Right.
So you bake these at 350 degrees. Again, we're going to put the recipe.
So you're just going to take
on
and pour, what would you say, a tablespoon?
Yeah, so
on
I'll
a
just show
cookie sheet?
on this here.
Yeah.
Because that's easy.
Yeah,
350
exactly.
for
So we'll make sure the
350,
camera.
about 10
Make
minutes.
sure the
10
camera's
minutes at
watching.
350 temp.
About 10 minutes. You're going
Okay.
to want to keep an eye on it because everyone's oven's going to be different. 350 sometimes can be,
Okay.
it might be a little lower, it might be a little longer. You want them to get darker on the edges is the only thing. If you
Okay.
underbake them and they're too white in the center, they're going to be a little bit chewy. It doesn't make them bad. It doesn't make them taste bad. It's just they're not going to be super crisp. They're just going to be a tiny bit chewier.
Alrighty.
Exactly.
So you're only going to take probably
because it
about-
spreads.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something about the size of a toonie,
Right.
And
That's
when
right.
that
Exactly.
bakes, it thins out to being about this size. See what I mean about it being? It'll be lighter in the center and it'll be a little darker on the
Looks
outside.
perfect,
but
though.
you want there to be
the
a
consistency.
You want there to be a snap when you crack that cookie, right? Cookies are
good.
dangerous. Okay, so that's it. So magic, you bake for 350 degrees for 10 minutes, and then you get these. These are the result of that. Yeah, sure. Audrey.
Yes. They smell. The smell of them.
Beautiful texture,
Oh.
beautiful
Nice.
thinness to it.
And so they should just like that, just like a cracker.
Yummy too. Yay. Getting all kinds
And
of
the
ideas.
caramelization helps with sweetening it, so you
Of
don't
course.
really need to add. I mean, the sweetness was a bit of sugar and honey.
Right.
That is, I could just sit and eat that alone all day.
So you can in Europe, like you get bags of these. Like these are like the snack cookie that
They're
people.
beautiful.
Where?
Yeah. Well, in
Overseas.
Europe, overseas.
Oh,
right.
okay.
This is a really yummy treat.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's next?
One other component that we're going to use here for this dish is crispy quinoa. So what I've done is I've cooked quinoa, just simple. Cook it however you're going to cook quinoa at home. A little bit of salt in the water. You let it cook until you see the little seeds start to pop,
Yep.
Okay.
and then you deep fry them.
I like quinoa.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you deep fry
yeah.
them?
But have you had deep fried quinoa?
Never.
No, so you deep fry quinoa. So,
Never did.
So this is what they look like.
Right.
They're just they're
So
like
just
super
go like that with
yeah
them, just so people can see. There we go. Ooh.
hand model.
Yes.
There.
You
You
are.
want to try that?
I shall. I'll just dip. I'm having everything.
Crispy quinoa.
Crispy. So
Oh, that's really
So this
did
is
we
going
do
to be
first?
another textural
flavor.
component. This is going to be another textural component, and again
Okay.
flavor. We're adding
Wow.
these. We're adding really
It's a little
kinda
nutty?
roasty
Delicious.
and nutty with the berries and the yogurt. Kind of rounds out this
so
dish.
good so far. I've only tried these two.
I know.
I'm gonna sneaky while he's not looking, Audrey, and take
Yep.
a bit more.
I know.
Going to finish it with a little bit of
So good.
this wild rose vinegar that I made.
Wild rose vinegar
Yeah,
that
so
you made.
Pick roses and steep them in sugar and water, equal parts. Show like a cup of sugar and a cup of vinegar. And you steep the
Okay.
petals in that for about. You steep about a cup of petals in about that, maybe a cup and a cup.
Neat.
So rose
For-
vinegar truly means you used rose petals.
Rose petals, yeah, I use rose petals. Yeah.
Why it's
I'm a-
red.
I'm a
But this
little
time of year, how do you get them?
Well, that's why I pickle this. So when they're
pickle them.
you pick them when they're
Okay.
ready.
Okay, I'll know for next year.
And then
I
steep
don't
them-
think you can use the roses you get as a gift.
No, they
right?
might have herbicides and pesticides.
Oh,
Right,
right.
right, right.
Okay,
No.
so don't
Avoid
be
that
just
kind of stuff.
using those.
So this is
roses.
going to be adding like an acidic pop to the yogurt on top
Okay.
of the
Beautiful.
olive oil.
Okay, so that you're not putting that in the quinoa. That's for
That's actually going to be going on top after we're
okay.
all said and done. So we're going to plate it in this bowl, which is kind of a nice little decorative
Right.
bowl. Again, another product from
Dessert
Cardinal
type
International.
dish. Yeah, very true.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that goes in the bottom.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to build this kind of with these little hidden nuggets of deliciousness. So we have the quinoa on the bottom of the bowl.
Don't touch it
And,
until he's
I'm
done.
not going to touch it. I'm just looking.
Just going to move these things out of the
I'm
way here.
tempted though.
Okay,
So for this part, we're going to put blueberries, about 2 cups of blueberries
okay.
into the food processor.
And I was smart when they were selling them this summer. I did freeze a lot.
Did you?
A lot.
When you get them
Oh.
when they're when you get
I
them when they're in their prime.
Yep, they were in the
Okay.
prime and they're in my
Okay.
freezer. And
So I
they're
can't
beautiful.
use the frozen berries
You
I
can,
can
of
find in
course
the
you can.
grocery store?
Of course
Okay.
you can, because
Okay.
those berries are picked when they're in when they're in season.
when they were in
so,
season. Okay.
So we got 2 cups of blueberries here, and
Right.
to that we're going to add about 1/4 of a cup, maybe a little bit more Greek yogurt.
Greek yogurt.
Okay.
Quarter of a
And
cup.
it's nice and thick, the Greek
Yes,
yogurt.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
like that.
You can use thinner yogurt again. You can use thinner yogurt. I like Greek because it'll make the end product a little bit stiffer.
Okay.
To
Perfect.
that we're going to add probably about a tablespoon of honey.
I have that. I have all these things in my kitchen.
Yeah,
Right, see,
me
like it's
too.
not
So
fancy. It
Yeah.
can be fancy without having to be. You don't got to go to the grocery store and
No.
restock.
Tell me a
your
little bit. I
cupboards.
have a question about honey. I noticed at one of the local stores, I believe it's the Bulk Barn, they have honey that's heated.
Oh.
Is that
It's
better?
It's probably just
Is it-
for its
it comes-
viscosity, so you can like scoop it easier maybe.
Okay. No,
I'm not
yeah,
really
you turn
sure
it
why.
on and it pours
Okay,
into
yeah,
the
it's
thing.
so
And I didn't know
so
if that
mosey-
meant it was
probably so mosey
unpasteurized
heated.
or
Well, if it was heated, it would be pasteurized. They
Okay.
heat those things up to pasteurize those.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
that we got the berries, yogurt. We're gonna turn that on and just give it a whirl.
Okay. So we'll talk a little bit louder while the blender's going.
Sure.
And this is just the Greek yogurt for the viewers who missed that part. And we have 2 cups of blueberries, a quarter
Quarter of a cup of Greek yogurt.
Greek yogurt,
Yeah.
and then a little bit
Probably
of
about a
honey.
tablespoon of honey.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
that's it for that.
That's just it.
it's cracker. So good. Haverflarn.
Yeah.
Haverflarn. Yeah.
Haverflarn. So it's a cookie cracker.
Yeah,
kind
well,
of
it's
thing.
a,
It's
it's, a,
on
it's,
the
a,
sweeter
it's,
side.
a, it's a cookie.
like a
it's
wafer,
cookie,
isn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's just
Grand.
it.
Stays nice
So-
and crispy.
How much time do you spend in the kitchen in the run of a week, would you say?
Well,
In your kitchen.
In your kitchen.
at my house.
Preparing
Yes.
for yourself.
Actually, my fiance loves to cook.
Oh,
Tiffany,
aren't
so
you blessed?
yeah, so I'm lucky enough to get
Aren't you?
Come home and
to have
supper's
a little
made.
bit of rest. Yeah. she
Common.
loves to cook and she's an incredible cook.
Right.
Yeah.
Magnificent.
People always say, it must be great living with a chef because
You're
you get all
right.
these great meals cooked for you, but really
Isn't that
she
grand?
does the cooking at home.
Two talented
Go
people.
on.
I always cook if I get the chance, but she loves to cook, so
Well,
like to
you're
let
very
her go.
lucky.
No, so I want to touch back again with your Instagram account.
Sure.
Tell a little bit
So
people
my
more
Instagram
about
handle
that.
is Dennis Eats, Dennis.eats.
Right.
And it's it's somewhere I like to showcase the things that I like to make and the kind of food that I like to make myself and the different things that I work on just
Right.
out of boredom, to keep myself.
So
keep
tell us
myself entertained.
some of the big names that have contacted you. You were saying
Yeah,
a
so-
little bit about Clubhouse Spices.
Yeah, so
you know
I-
Clubhouse.
Yes.
The spices in
So
the grocery store.
I just finished a promotion with Clubhouse Spices for a recipe online, so you can actually go on Clubhouse Canada's website,
Right.
and you can go on the McCormick's website as well. And my recipe has been featured on.
Well,
there,
isn't that?
Isn't
yeah,
that
which
nice?
was nice, and I was contacted through social media for that, which was a really really
Congratulations.
great opportunity.
So
It
they
certainly
promote you and you promote them. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
So it's an
cross-promotion.
advertisement through social media, which is
Now,
very,
do you
very
find
nice.
social media has been huge for you
100%, yeah,
as far as
yeah.
this goes?
It really has helped my career, definitely. It gives you an opportunity to be in touch with businesses or
Mm-hmm.
with different chefs or networking is super
Yeah.
is super
My
positive.
sister in Toronto has a taste box company, so we'll have to
Oh,
talk
cool.
about that.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's going very
Exactly.
well.
Cool.
That's
So
just
yeah.
it.
So
now what are you going to do?
What I'm going to do is I'm just
This is
going to
our
take.
next
So this is
layer on
this
top
is
of-
nice and stiffened up now.
Yep.
Yes,
go, right?
the
Like
frozen
that.
berries
Perfect.
made a huge. Oh wow!
Just like Dairy Queen.
Okay, so frozen yogurt, just like that.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a nice little dollop of that right on
Ooh
the
wow!
center of that.
That's a nice serving.
Yeah. We're going to give a little smash of that vinegar.
Okay.
The pickled rose vinegar, because that's going to
Okay.
add like nice little acidic pops. And
Splash.
Yeah,
I've never
just,
Okay.
heard tell of pickled rose vinegar before.
Want to try it?
Just dot.
No, not just like that. I don't
Not
like
the
vinegar
straight vinegar.
alone. But I think I would like it with this.
So with that, I'm going
Right.
to top it with that cookie. Here we go. We didn't heat them all yet.
No, we didn't eat. I
So-
didn't eat them all yet.
Something you can kind of do. Again, it playing with your food.
Right.
Like it has to taste good, but I like to play with a little bit as well. So we're just
Oh,
going to
that
stick
looks
those
lovely.
cookies in it like that.
Look
Nice.
at that presentation.
Yeah,
And
the
that's that.
yogurt
So,
turned out really
that
good.
would be
Gorgeous looking.
the finished
So,
product.
ladies and gentlemen at home, this might be what you would like to serve your guests after an evening of entertainment.
Yeah,
Hors
how quick
d'oeuvres
and
and-
easy is that? And how impressive
Beautiful.
it would be. It's going to come right out of the bowl.
Yeah, no, better not come on the ball. Have to eat it up off the floor if it does.
Yeah, exactly. That's just it. So tell us a little
neat.
bit more about how this all started for you. Like
try
the
it.
passion itself. When did you, like when you were little,
Right,
were
so
you messing around in your mother's kitchen or what?
It's funny. Tiffany and I were actually talking about it last night. Tiffany, my fiance. I tend to have strange, like, movies stick out in my head
Okay.
based on the food scenes in the movies, which
Oh,
which
really?
is kind of weird. But when I'm thinking of a movie, like Hook, that movie with Robin
Okay.
Williams, the scene where they're all eating at the table, that's like my favorite scene in the movie. And
I
I
forget
never
that
really,
scene.
I never really
No.
realized it, but I've always been interested in food.
I'm
And
watching what
before
they're
I-
dining on.
Before I got into food, got into cooking professionally.
Because you didn't start culinary right out of the gate.
No. I was a little
was
older.
years in,
probably
you were
about
older.
24,
Okay.
This is
25.
beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
Yum.
I was coming home from work and making something, whether it was
Right.
chocolate truffles or whatever. I was always experimenting, and I knew that I was into it, but I didn't know if I was ready to take the leap and actually go
Go to
work in
school
a
for
restaurant
it.
or go to school.
Okay.
So if you guys remember, Relish Gourmet Burgers opened up a few years
Yes.
ago, so
Yes.
that was an opportunity.
Okay.
My fiance's brother was telling me that he had dined at this place in Fredericton and that he heard that they were coming here, so I thought I'd give it a shot. And I went and applied and got hired there. And
Those burgers were good. They were
Yeah.
like gourmet
Oh,
burgers.
this is all
They
good
were-
too.
Yeah.
so I went there, worked there, and through there, the chef and one of the owners of the restaurant, Ray Henry, fell in love with the industry. And Tiffany was always telling me as well, maybe you should go to culinary school. And
she's your fiancée?
she's my rock. She's one of my biggest
Yeah.
supporters.
Promoters.
Yeah. So I was always on the fence, and then I just got to the point where I thought I either have to do it or not do it. So I did it. I enrolled in the Culinary Institute of Canada in 2012 and graduated in 2014. And since then, it's taken me to Alberta. I worked for a catering company in the camps in Alberta, and then again through social media. That's where I started my Instagram
Right.
account while I was in camp, because there's a lot of downtime. You can't just
Exactly.
go to the movies or.
No.
So downtime is spent alone,
Creatively.
essentially. Yeah. So
Creatively, and you are artistic.
Definitely.
You said you love art in general.
Right,
So this
so-
food is art. as far as
It
I'm
is,
concerned,
and
if
we
it's
want to
presented
thank
well.
you so much for
Beautiful.
joining us today. I think Dennis is someone we should have on
Every day.
periodically for when the seasons change, and you
Yeah.
can bring us and show us the newest and latest things. So
Yeah, that'd be
again,
cool.
thank you so
Awesome.
much
I'd love
for
to.
joining us,
Yeah,
Dennis.
thank you.
Don't forget
Delicious.
to check him out on Instagram and check our link for the recipes and everything else that Dennis showed us today. So thank you
stuff.
for watching, and thank you, Dennis, for joining us.
Thank you very
We'll see
much.
you again next week.